In fact, how fun would it be for you two to make an appearance at the 23rd mile of the race, the exact spot where Michael handed out his yellow shot? P.S. I am currently training for my 13th marathon myself, and I listen to podcasts every Wednesday, or sometimes I save it for my long runs on Sundays. A lot of people are surprised that I listen to podcasts instead of music while running, but I think a podcast about a show set in sprint is the perfect listening choice while preparing for a race that ends in sprint. Oh, Greg, I love that. Greg, I hope you're running right now. Hello. Hello. How's it going? I hope you're hydrated and have comfortable running shoes. Keep going. Keep going. You can do it. What talking? You need it for? Yeah. And I want you to know it's definitely fun because it hurts you to take a second, take it off the jacket. Oh, the ambition jacket, as I like to call it. I think it's ambition technology related. Oh, yeah. Jacket, yeah. So they're going to go into Michael's office, and it's like, I need to find out what he told David Wallace. I don't feel like the point of that as they walk into Michael's office, they still have my mind on right now. And only one is they worked on that one girl that, you know what, guys? She really did. By the end of this episode, Jan would have a stellar binder. Yeah, I don't know what the binder is about, but it's going to be great. Notice how looking for this. Right is checking his people. They're dilated. He's got a big red mark on his forehead. Yeah. Girl, up next. It's like, hey, you put my sister in a hole. Girl, you put my trash can. Yeah, yeah. Girl wants to call corporate file a complaint. Guys, guest star alert. Girl's sister Gwyneth, played by Jamila Jackson. She's so good. She's so good at this. She's perfect. She's going to appear in another episode as well. And Randall Hartford told us that after they cast her, he agreed to let Betty Stewart cut her hair to match Craig for this role. Well, it really sold it. I mean, that's commitment. That's after commitment. It is. And sometimes you gotta ask yourself stuff. Yeah, I remember they were put that in the breakdown for roles. If there was, like, something you needed to do. Like, I don't know, shave your head, or grow a beard, or dye your hair. Yeah, brown, like I did for Peter's back off. Yeah, there was a cool brunette who last 2 years. Yeah, we freaked my family out. Well, you know, thank you for doing that. We love you as your sister. Dwight and Toby are going to have to go down to the warehouse. They're going to apologize. But then, Dwight notices that some of the other warehouse workers are using the lift to get down from the top of the stairs. They're like crawling through the banister on top of the lift and going down. And Dwight's like, hold on. I think you hurt your leg using the lift instead of the stairs. And here's my evidence. There's a new piece of wood up there. Right. Shenanigans. Busted. Dwight's right. Daryl's like, yeah. So Dwight is like, I'm going to file a complaint because Daryl lied. Daryl is like, I'm going to file a complaint because you harassed my sister. Toby is like, no paperwork, we're all just going to move on. There's an epic stare down between Daryl, his sister, and Dwight. And it ends with Toby disgust being like, so Dwight and Daryl decided to file complaints on one another. So now Toby is in a mountain of paperwork. I just read Toby's format from running his trash can and his little stuffed doggy. Alright, well, we have one more storyline to wrap up here. Michael is going to call David Wallace in front of Jim and try to both save his own ass and tell David Wallace that he thinks that Jim is a good person for this promotion. Jim makes him put David on speakerphone. And he lies at first and says Jim is not there. And then David is like, I want Jim to be there. So he does like this funny little like, oh, walking in. There he is. Oh, hey, sitting down, huh? Well, I had to look it up in the script. I wanted to know, did Steve improvise that in the moment? That was in the script. like the sort of big picture stuff. Jim, you handle the day-to-day. What do you think? And Michael's like, I don't know. And David's like, listen, this is the only way I can sell it to Alan. Who's Alan? Who's Alan? Who's Alan? Who's this guy? Who the hell is Alan? I don't know who Alan is, but Alan's in charge. Clearly. We never meet Alan. I've never heard of Alan before. Well, Alan, whoever you are, this is going to go well. It's not going to go well, Ellen. It's a terrible idea. Terrible idea. We'll see how it goes next week at least. It is not going to go well, Alan. Sorry to say. Well, I love this next moment. Right? It's going to burst in to make an announcement, right? What you discovered in the warehouse. The market is already making an announcement. But he and Jim announced TRILLIONAIRE to expand his brand. Right? Right? It looks like someone hit him in the face with a frying pan. He's like, what the F? And then he has a talking head that he gets a scream. It's like a primal scream. We had a fan question from Winter P from Fort Wayne, Indiana, my birthplace. I was born. How about that? After Jim gets promoted, White has a talking head where he just screams. And you can see Creed like jump out of his seat in the background. Was Creed actually startled by the noise? I mean, I have to say it looks like he was. They might have used the very first take. Yeah, and Jason didn't realize how loud Ray was going to be. Well, you know, in the shooting draft, that's the last scene. Oh, yeah, but what made it to air, there was lovely little ending scene between Meredith and Sam and Angela. I loved it. Sam is still trying to get her RSVP list finalized, and she asked Meredith, what's coming? Meredith says, Niagara Falls in October? Hell yeah! But then, you know, the scene plays out. We discussed it at the top of the show, where Meredith doesn't want to return her RSVP card. She'll just text Sam if she wants ribs or not. And as Meredith leaves, Sam is clearly like frustrated. And Angela says, wait, about Meredith. Sam is so excited. He's like, yes. And you guys sit down and have a moment with Angela in the break room and maybe vent a little bit. The first you have to do Angela's purse onto the table. Yeah. There goes their moment. It's over. It's done. They're never going to be Christmas. Well, there you have it, guys. That was the meeting. Next week we have a very special episode of Office Ladies with a very special person. Oh, we love it. Who we love so much that you know talking like this. We have a special bird bug. Well, it's fascinating. I can't wait for you guys to hear this interview. Have a fantastic week. They will go to the Office Ladies. Give me a big hug through the microphone to me. I like that. See you next week. Thank you for watching the Office Ladies. I hear one. Yes, the chair and answer. Our show is executive produced by Tony Fisher. Our producer is Kathy Durkin. Our sound engineer is Sam. And our associate producer is Ainsley Dubico. Our theme song is Rubber Tree by Chris Pratt. For ad-free versions of Office Ladies, go to SuperPremium.com. For a free 1-month trial of Super Premium, use code OFFICE.
Walmart Plus can help save yours this year by saving the time and money. Walmart Plus is membership benefits like gas discounts, industry, so much more. Your regular voice is to simplify your life. With free delivery, Walmart Plus orders what you need online delivery. Right now, members with discount Walmart Cash deal with 18 now. Save the resolution. Walmart.com/plus.
Did you know that the cold taste of Dunkin' cold coffee is brewed under pure coffee maker and enjoy it out? Is that right? Dunkin' cold K-Cup pods were crafted to brew hot and cold. Each Dunkin' cold K-Cup pod is packed with smooth Dunkin' flavors you crave. Pick up a pack of Dunkin' cold K-Cup pods and enjoy a Dunkin' cold coffee at home exclusive behind the scenes stories that only the people who were there can tell you for the operating system. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. We are really excited about this week's episode. It's really special. It really is. We got to interview Mike Schur. You guys know he played Rose on the show. He's also one of our original writers. We got to interview him. Oh, my God. It was delicious. We loved it. We listened to the whole episode. Yeah. We just have so much to talk with him about. But first, we're still going to get you back. Always stressful. You know, always. And I told you to be like in your 80s. Be like sitting in a corner mumbling it. That's okay. And they'll be like, what's Grandma talking about?
Hey, how are you?
These are my pure fast facts.
Good, buddy.
Fast fact number one, Mike was on the writing staff from season 1 to season 4. He wrote 10 episodes. Here's what they were. The Alliance, Apocalyptic, Christmas Party, Valentine's Day. That was one of our hidden gems. Yeah, in our ranch closing, traveling salesman, the return, negotiation, the job. That's the one where Jim comes in.
How'd you hear about it?
And then there was one that's Infinity.
I was just on Twitter. Oh my God, it's so cute.
Writing for your character a lot. Your character always had great moments in this episode. They did. I loved it when Mike was assigned an episode. Well, Mike also wrote the accountant's episodes with Paul Lieberstein. He played those in 13 episodes of the show, starting in season 2. He talks a lot about playing Moe's in our interview, and it's very fun. It is. I love his relationship with Moe's. So here's fast fact number 2. I'm going to talk to you about shows he's created. I think you guys know the show that he started on SNL. It was there for 6 seasons. During his time on SNL, he produced the Weekend Update. Oh, yeah. From 2000, that's a big deal. That's a prestigious position. Yes. He did it from 2001 to 2004. He, of course, was a writer on The Office until 2008. He then went on to co-create Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he created The Good Place and Rutherford Falls with our very own Ed Reynolds. Wow. Yeah. His resume is full of other shows that he's also produced on and written for. I have to give a shout out to one thing because I love the show. Did you know that he co-produced The Comeback with Pedro? And he wrote 2 episodes, and I loved that show. And I loved it. I found that out about him in the first season of The Office, and I was like enamored with him. Like, to me, that was like superstar status, that he wrote that just amazing satire. It makes me want to go back and rewatch it. I had forgotten that he worked on it, and when I was looking up his credits, I was like, oh, I want to rewatch The Comeback. Well, fast fact number 3, Mike Schur wrote a book. It's called How to Be Perfect, The Correct Answer to Every Moral Question. Here's how he described it to us in an email. He said, it's a book about how hard it is to be a good person, and how we can use ethics and moral philosophy to try not to screw up all the time, but in a funny way, not like in a homework way. The basic idea was to explain all the stuff I learned for The Good Place without giving everyone a headache. You guys, when we did this interview with Mike, our copies of his book had not arrived yet, but we have them now, and this is a truly special book. I started reading it, and I can't stop. I'm like binging a book. Same. I love it. I couldn't put it down. I was reading it last night. This morning, I was like, I want to read more. Like, I woke up thinking about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Mike is such an amazing writer. We already know that. But he takes this conversation of morality, and he makes it funny and interesting and relatable. For example, there's a chapter title that, by the way, all the chapter titles are hilarious, but here's one that cracked me up. There's a chapter title, Do I Have to Return My Shopping Cart to the Shopping Cart Rack Thingy? All the way over there. Yes, and then basically what he says is he answers that question, and the answer is based on all of these ancient philosophers and, ethics, morality, and moral compass. Yeah. So, listen, I think we should take a break, and when we come back, we get to listen to Mike Sure. And we get to find out so much about Moe's. It's a treat, we promise. Well, I have a lot of family in Texas, and I just want you to know, if you travel to Texas, there are vast landscapes, cultures, regions, destinations, activities that allow for an infinite number of different travel experiences. You can have none of the sun. Texas has 350 miles of coastline. That's right. Or if you like more of a rugged vacation, there are campgrounds, hiking trails, state parks, and the food. Can we talk about the food? Tex-Mex and barbecue. There's live music, art museums, cowboy experiences. Come on. Right now, Travel Texas offers a one-of-a-kind online trip builder that allows users to generate a custom joy-led trip matching their unique interests. You go in there and put your interests, and I'll say, here's where you want to go in Texas. Visit traveltexas.com/get-your-own to get the only trip to Texas that matters. Yours. That's traveltexas.com/get-your-own. I didn't know this. I think anyone that follows me on Instagram knows this. My husband and I love a project, and it often starts an idea because we love to save money while we're also furnishing our home, and we get really affordable, beautiful stuff, and comfortable. And sectional is really comfortable. Thank you. We bought this huge sectional sofa at IKEA. Josh put it all together. It's in our TV kind of game room. It's awesome. IKEA also has a great section to help you get organized. They have solutions for storage. They have the marketplace, where you can get decor. Really, from the living room to the bedroom, IKEA is making it more affordable than ever to furnish your entire home with home solutions you'll love. My favorite part is when we're leaving and we walk through the plant section. I always grab a plant. Shop hundreds of new lower prices today at IKEA-USA.com. That's IKEA-USA.com. For 175 years, Gordon's has been committed to spreading the goodness of the sea by making quality seafood accessible to everyone while responsibly sustaining its future. Over 99% of Gordon's seafood is certified as responsibly sourced. And Gordon's reached out to us and said, "Do you want us to send you some of our fish sticks, some of our products? You can become familiar with it before you speak about it on the podcast." And I was like, "Gordon's, I've got you in my freezer right now." Okay? You do your two loves of fish sticks. Yes, it's our fave. Guess what I got? I got these Southern style shrimp. It is so good. Oh, yeah. Yeah. When you're looking in the freezer aisle, the Gordons are in the yellow package. They've got the iconic fisherman on the cover. This brand has been around since I was a kid. Same. Gordon's is actually a brand that's been around for 175 years. Oh, my gosh. That's so rare. Well, we love Gordon's, and we can help you make your mealtime easy. Visit Gordons.com to learn more, find a store, and get a recipe inspiration. Mike Sure, welcome to Office Lady. Woohoo!
So excited to be here. I'm a huge fan of you as people. First and foremost. Second of all, you as actors. And then third of all, you as podcasters. This has been such a delight to watch you do this thing to celebrate this show that we all made together. I'm so happy to be here. It's a real honor.
Oh, Mike, thank you so much. We love you. We're so thrilled to have you here, and I know the fans are going to enjoy this series. Your voice. You know, I both listened to you quite a bit before this, and we both found you really sweet to listen to. Yeah, we like your voice quite a lot.
Listen to me and watch podcasts.
Other podcasts, interviews, podcasts. We do our research here on Office Lady. Yeah.
It's very nice of you to say because I've always found my own voice to be slightly annoying. Which I think maybe most people do. It's the phenomenon of hearing your voice play back to you. This is how old we are. We didn't like on an answering machine message.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like is that what I sound like? I always feel like I sound a little annoyed and nasally, but I'm glad to hear you say that.
Well, I felt that way about myself too, and I sort of brushed it off like, oh, that's just everybody feels that way about their own voice. But then we recently rewatched an episode where Michael is trying to get Jim to say something bad about Pam, and he gets Jim to admit that Pam's voice is rather shrill sometimes. And I thought, oh, I guess maybe in the writer's room, when about me, we settled on my Trill voice, so thank you so much. I didn't get comments or either. Hated your voice. I don't know. Mike, do you know?
I'm very pleased to say that I think I was gone by the time that was written, so I do not have the
It
answer
wasn't
that
you.
time.
Will quit. It wasn't you. Well, listen, we always like to ask people when they come on the podcast, how did they get their job on The Office? And we know that you did double duty. You were a writer, but then you were also a performer. But let's start with, how did you get your job as a writer on the show?
So I was writing at Saturday Night Live from 1998 to 2004. My then girlfriend, now wife of 14 years, had moved out to LA permanently in like 2002 or 3 days long distance. And in like 2003, it was like, all right, this is never gonna really work. Either she had to move back to New York or I had to leave to move to LA. It made more sense for me to go to LA because there are more jobs there. So I gave my like year's notice to ignore my goals. So that was just a year, and got an agent for the first time in my life because I never needed one, and I was like, all right, I'm moving. And the first thing he told me was, this guy, Greg Daniels, is adapting the British Office for American television, and I responded, what a terrible idea. This is a disaster. I was a huge fan of the British show. This is such a classic story, right? I was a huge fan of the British show. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I didn't think there was any way to ever work in America, but he was like, well, beggars can't be choosers. So like, I have to get a job out there. So I came to LA sometime in, I don't even remember, like the winter, I think like February, on an office at SNL, and I had a bunch of meetings with one of the scripts. So most of the meetings I had were pretty standard hour-long chats. Our pilot wants the pilot. Let's talk about the show, and I usually try to say nice things about whatever they were working on. And I met with Greg, and my meeting with Greg was 2 hours long, more than 2 hours long. And it was so different from every other meeting. It was like intense and in-depth and fascinating. In the middle of the meeting, he said, I'm very sorry that my back is acting up. Would you mind if I wipe it out? And I said, no. And then he lay on the floor on his back in front of me while I sat on his couch. So I think through an outside observer, it was looking very much like we were in like Freudian analysis, and I was just there and like pre-associating. But he just asked the most incisive questions, the most penetrating questions about the nature of storytelling and about the British show and why it worked and what you had to do to make it work here. And I left the meeting and I texted on my like Motorola Razr. I texted my agent. So what my job, but if he does, I'm going to take it because he's going to teach me how to write. And my agent sends that text like every 4 years. Wow. Sends it back to me and says, you were right. So Greg offered me the job, and I happily took it, and I thought, this is not going to work. It is a fool there to try to adapt the show for American audience, but it can teach me how to write, and that's exactly what happened. And that first season, the only full-time writer really was DJ. Lester Lewis, Billy Lester Lewis, our World War IV consultant, and I was never really translated all the shit we were doing. Greg taught a class, taught like a teacher professor taught a class on how to write, and it changed all of our lives forever. So that's my office origin story.
Wow, that's so good. Mike, I remember you guys, that first season, there were so few of you, and how close you all became because of that.
Yeah, it was a tiny little, very used to call it a strike force, like a strike force, which I think was just him trying to our confidence because we had done what we were doing. But it was really, it was a very, very small group of people who were working really hard on a very small number of episodes. We only wrote 5 scripts, but each wrote, we actually wrote, I'm not sure if you remember this, but we wrote Natalie wasn't his story. There were times when, I told the story before, but there were times when Greg was talking in the kitchen, and I had a notebook where I was just jotting down ideas, and there would be moments when Greg would say, well, let's talk about what, let's pause for a second, and talk about what makes a good story, and then we start kind of like going through the list of things that, were crucial to the story, and I was about like a week in lecture mode. And it was lecture mode, which was a bit like a sound of a bad thing, and I would turn the page and I would start taking notes like I was in college. And I would just like write down the word, and actually was after I had a test coming out, and I would start writing down. And I still have those notes, and I still go back to look at them every once in a while to like remember to refresh my memory about what it's all about storytelling. It was that intense and that sort of foundational to all of us.
Oh, wow. I do remember those early days about what a small collective we were. Even our table days, do you remember? We had to pull up chairs on the stage where we were filming. We would just all grab like a desk chair and sit in a circle and read the script. And I loved that.
Well, there were so many cool things about that first season, including that the place where we worked was on this weird soundstage in the middle of Culver City or something. And so Hollywood soundstages are often, these gigantic empty rooms with sets, and then attached to them usually or above them are secret offices where the writers and the production staff work. But that secret offices the actual set. The set that we built was modeled on the crappy offices that the writers are working. And right down in the layout, like Greg was in what was in Michael's office, and there was like a reception desk right outside it that became Pam's reception desk. And so we would do these drills. Greg would have these big drills where he would go like, okay, take a half an hour and like go sit at Pam's desk, or go sit in Michael's office, and we'll be Michael's office, or go sit where Jim sits, and like just get a sense of like what is your eye line to Pam, right? So he would put me at Pam's reception desk, and he would put DJ at Jim's desk, and he would say like just sit there and like absorb the vibe of like imagine that you're in love with that person, and then you have to like angle your chair in such a way so that you can catch a glimpse of her out of the corner of your eye or whatever. And it was fascinating. It was really interesting. I remember at one point we had to go into Michael's office, or what the office that would be the model for Michael's office. And I remember hating it. It was like I hated it. I was far away from everything. And I was just people talking through the windows. And what are they talking about? And I had the urge to like go out and like do what Michael did all the time, which was like, hey, what's going on? And it was like he was so much about what he wanted out of the show, and that he was crafted not just with the skill of writing characters, but the skill of like emboding them or emotionally connecting to them. And it was just that's what I mean when I say it was professorial. It wasn't just like, all right, what's episode 2, what's the act break, what's the first act break for the season finale. It was really like had embody the characters and understand them emotionally and socially in a way that I think led to great episodes.
Well, it's so interesting because when all the actors got there, and they did that to us too, they made us sit at our desks and just sit there and feel it. We talked about that before. And so I love that started all the way back with you guys writing the episodes.
Yeah, June of 2004, like they were writing there were things like that that weren't typical things that you do with a writing staff. Another thing we did all the time, which I thought was really fun, which I still do on shows that I work on now, is we would come into work one day, we would have put all the characters in on a board, and we would do it at random, and we would give them to say, so pretty quickly he gets tired of the story with involving these three people. And he was like, that's not what this is going to be. This is going to be it's a whole point of the show to observe like an anthropologist, observe the coming and going of a large number of people in the same office environment. So like, so we're not random pairing and like sometimes really fun stuff will come out of it, you know, like just so thoroughly understood what made the show special and what the potential was for how good it could be because it had all of these affirmations and this was always moving pieces around the chessboard with the writers for journalism, you know?
Yeah, I remember telling my dad, I was trying to describe this group of people and the show to my dad who was not at all in entertainment, you know, there's no things there. But sometimes we just talk sports. And I said, Dad, here's the deal. And it's like a basketball term, like, our team is so good. There's so many layers to this team. And then when he came and, you know, Greg and I came to the table read at lunch, my dad was like, I get it. Like, there were laughs, I think, coming from him in all these places, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that in season 9, John and I were invited to be producers on the show to kind of help carve out Jim and Pam's final season. And we got put into the writer's room, mostly as observers. And Greg was running the show that season, and he was still doing those exercises. And it was fascinating. Except in this case, it was more like homework. I remember the day started, and Greg said, okay, get out your homework. And the homework was that everyone had to come up with 5 ideas for, I can't remember what it was, but it was like for a Dwight and Stanley cold open. So, and then he would just sit and listen. And then when there was an idea that piqued his interest, he would say, oh, okay, you two, go off, flesh that out. And then 2 people would leave the room, and then we would keep listening to the homework. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I was so terrified when he said my 5 ideas, because sometimes it was just crickets. Like, you could just hear the ideas just die in the room. I mean, what an intense and vulnerable thing to pitch your creative ideas in front of like a room of people who are all judging whether or not you should follow that thread.
Yes, one of his greatest strengths is that he is unafraid, I would say, of failure. And I think that comes, I'm guessing that comes partially from what you Saturday Night Live, because what you just described of like pitching ideas and having a bomb, right? That is the essence of working at SNL, except for failures at SNL are public. Like you write sketches and there's a read through with the entire cast of the show and Lauren and all the producers around a giant table, and the audience is 100 people who work on the show. And by the way, a very famous person who's hosting the show, like, you know, Drake is reading your links or whatever. And there are moments at SNL where, you know, your sketches are 12 pages long or whatever, and you're just sketch starts to like the joke of the sketch is strong and no one laughs. And in your head you're like, there's 10 more pages. Like we have to sit here for 10 more pages and no one finds my premise funny. And so for I don't know if you like to experience with this, I don't really talk to him about his time there, but it was like 6 months. That way, probably. And the show happened, and it was like, money again, and it was like, fail again, fail, and eventually, at some point, I just figured out, like, okay, not the end of the world, like, I'm still here, and then, better than that, because this year,
You can say hello to your most delicious area with fresh ingredients, chef-crafted recipes, all at a price you don't like, delivered right to your door. Go to HelloFresh.com/office free and use code OfficeFree for free breakfast for lunch. One breakfast item per month for subscription access and free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/office free. Use code OfficeFree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. So around New Year's, we all reflect and take a little trip towards what we want to do for best self for the next year. Yes, I think we know that the year definitely makes you New Year's resolution. What do I want to change? New year, new me, that kind of thing. Yes, but perhaps this year you reflect on what we're already doing right. And there you help you figure out strengths. This idea that you can find strengths. Your resolution. Make changes that really fit with your I like that. If you're thinking of starting therapy, better help you try. It's primarily online designed to conveniently flexible. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a licensed therapist, and therapist at time for no additional charge. Don't wait to contact us already today. Visit BetterHelp.com/office today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. Help.com/office. Well, now I think we have to ask you, we do. How does it come to play mode? Yeah, some things we understand we hate it. You hate being mode, but we love mode.
I love the fact that I think I hate it actually. So here's the story. The story was Greg had his marketplace category himself was not Amish or Mennonite or anything like that, but he was Amish and he had relatives with the Germanic descent in Pennsylvania through that. That alone was Amish. Greg had it in the back of his head, and there was a sort of cousin, a sure cousin that was either Amish or some sort of Amish family. So, in 2004, there was a reality show called Amish.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes, it was a terrible program. So awful. And my wife and I watched it, and I sort of trying to express how it was. The writer was the premise of the show, and like it was from LA who were on spring break, and they were like, they would come stay in this awesome house in the Hollywood Hills, and they were like party or whatever. What they didn't know is also like would stay in the house with like orange folks on Rumstring for their year of exploration, and they were able to live together. And then, hot message. So, one of the characters of the show was obviously remote, like kind-hearted, fragile egg, who tried to get with some friends. They were close to LA, and among other roles, tried to bring back to Melbourne. Like a little wooden airplane or a wooden car, like a wooden about how like awesome the show was, and Greg pointed to this guy in the room that remembers the video and said, "You're gonna like cover your blood cousin." And I was like, ha ha ha. No, I'm serious. My brain is just like love. And I thought it was a joke for a couple of weeks. First, I thought it was a joke because all the other writers, they know they play like versions of themselves or they play with characters show. Like, it's on sale all the time, and all the sale all the time, and sale all the time. And Greg was just like, you are, and that's what you're and then, so the first time we did it, we wouldn't get a photo. It was every morning. This was episode I thought it was farmers. I thought it was the episode I wrote, the one where my son was condo. It was just a photo, and I was like, great. I'll put on a career, and I had this photo, but I'll just have to and the writer, my so-called friend, and I'm very excited about my post and start running from that all the time. And with the episode they wrote, the wife was trying to get Ryan to like some kind of sales percentage. I was pretty farm and the road closed at the show, and so Greg, a lot of money. And I'll tell you, I have a years in North Town. And I was like, I don't even think that very easily. It takes a long time. It's like you're going to do it. So I grew it for years. Saturday night, Saturday night, at that time, the show was nominated for an Emmy. And Greg and I went around and had a bunch of like fancy parties that we went to, and one of those photos I have is most here. And when that episode was one, people first wanted to shot that hours, like when there was I can't remember why, there was some kind of production issue or something, and it had delayed like 2 or 3 months. And I realized, like, I remember like this, like, I really thought you gotta do it, but I don't know now. I can't shoot now, and I'm going to time to time. And I was wearing long johns that were incredibly uncomfortable. And I had to run around and wrestle Ryan. And like, I was like, I was like a silly, like I was like, the horror was it took an entire day. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I get dressed by 5:30. And I was like, well, they'll never have to do that again. And then the writers, my so-called friends, into like 100 more of them. So I'm very honored and happy that people call my model the show on screen. But the actual acting was almost 105. And it was always I was always was on a dog or running alongside a car like a dog. Or it's probably the scariest moment of my life. Especially by that was one of the most terrifying moments of my life. Remember that?
Yes, I was going to tell you, but everyone knows that so many actually put together, and a lot of them are watching TV. So many of them that, you really cracked me up. But I have to talk about that one. First, I want to say, there was a really surplus where I'm actually the one, and we're wedding planning. So I did our wedding planner. We're trying to discuss a flower sculpture, and Andy signed all these papers. So you're coming to the weekend. And I just did it. But in that way, it's just great chances. It was so absurd. So
Right.
One thing that I remember crazy in terms of my you and I did our own stuff writing where we had screeched into a cul-de-sac side by side. Like really fast. Turn on a dime. And then I fly out of the car. They didn't want to waste any time with all that footage. And I run outside, swing open the door, and it's closed and not realized. Don't tell me what do I do. And they wanted me to flash and get out of here.
So what happened was we were like, okay, what I do, we were like, let's like walk through how this happened. We're going to go over here, and I'll have here, and we'll stand in the car, and I'll flash you, like, your hand. And that's what I did. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is okay. So, you know, it's a good job of knowing how to stuff, by the way. I'm like, I don't know. Something. And then flat for real. So hard, I spun around like a top. And like the car. Like my orders were ringing. And I remember like I was like, oh, I can't hear what these red words is. Like, so I think it was
oh, God, like, I'm sure you know that show told me. It's like, yeah, well, you're going to have to really get it because you're pretty wide. It'll be, you won't be able to do the safety.
yeah, and I also remember something not your fault. None of it is your fault. And I remember saying, well, really hit me because right? And I was like, no, I hate it when there's like a big slap on your face. I'm sure this is fine. This really is I remember telling you, like, it's fine. It really is fine. It's fine. I had no idea it was sort of a martial arts. I sort of knew I was officer, I was down where it was, I didn't know what was happening. My eyes went blind, and my ears dropped out, and I said, what was happening? Wonderful. I think naturally. Afterwards, also, I remember afterwards, was like, my letters to start, and no, I don't know. That was
Oh my gosh, mother beware. Okay? BSOS hit me. I do, I felt so bad, and I remember saying, I'm trying to like, why was that so hard? Maybe it was to my mother. Like, what is? I was like, trying to like think about, I don't know where the name came from, like, laughing is like a more chocolate thing. I was never really laughed in my life. That's forever. And so I screaming under a set of porn with the clothes about it. But this is all part of the story of conversation of why it wasn't funny as well. Not only was it always like that, but also like the writers was like actual life story. And then yeah, it's always like yeah, what is the other remote, right? One about the life, and then it was like what is the motive that was portrayed? And it was obviously laugh. Like out of the answer after that, or like great and running later, like so now whenever that, I still have to every time I look at the writers or somebody whatever you do it, performer or a stock or whatever, it's always a little bit like I don't know like, do you get recognized for being those very often?
there's a time when I recognize for that, yes. I mean, I'm older, I'm older in my hair, so I'm greater. So my hair is off. I went to the place on my basketball camp a couple of summers ago, and I went to the mother's camp, and my son was watching the show, and her 11 was watching the show, and it was very good. I wrote the wording and I put it up, and I went to the camp, and one of the counselors, I walked over there with one of the counselors saw it coming, and he wrote the line, I was like, hey, and I was like, are you going to
Hey, how are you? What up, next team, Philip? I'm seeing like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'm listening to your podcast. How did you hear about me? Let's hear about it. Let's hear about it. Hey, I am talking. How did you hear about me? How did you find out about me? What's new? How did you hear about me?
As a writer, does it ever get in your head when you come up with a really great gag? Do you think to yourself,
I talked to you a couple months ago. I was in your
does it ever affect your
right.
writing?
Hope you're doing well, baby. Doing the relative. Just saying hi. So good to see you, Rachel. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're well as well, girl. Hope you're doing well, baby.
I did not know. I never seen him take his shirt off. But him taking his shirt off caused the internet to explode. It was like, oh my god, so the dorky philosophy professor guy is also jacked. And I mean, it was only good for him. Everybody was happy with the result. But I was like, oh my god, I never asked him if it was okay that I wrote this thing where he took his shirt off. I should ask after that more. I should say, are you okay with it? And I think it's a gender thing in a way too, right? Obviously, if it is a woman, never in a billion years that we're any me or a woman in this room in any way without clearing it with her first. There would have been more discussion with meetings or whatever. And it didn't occur to me that a man might also be.
Okay, I hope you're doing well, baby.
As an actor, I feel like this comes up a lot in television because you agree to play a character, but you don't know.
Are you from San Francisco? Are you that racist?
Pilot episode. And so there could be years and years and years of stories, and they are assigned to the actor every week. And so with a movie, well, I can see the movie script if there's 3 weird sex scenes or a weird scene that makes me uncomfortable. I can just play.
What's going on in LA?
Right.
Yeah, an earthquake
Yeah, I know
earlier
everything
this week.
asked of me
It's
when
been
I
raining.
touch that movie.
Are you the person from San Francisco?
You don't know what's going to be asked of you, and I've always thought that
Or where do you live?
this came up on our show.
Hello, where do you live?
When they came up with a really funny idea that Pam would have a male lactation consultant who would be massaging her breasts in front of Jim, and that Pam and
Oh, it's that Rachel. Hey, how you doing, girl? Hope you're doing well. You had to replace your phone. Oh, exactly. I hope you're well. What's going on? Not too much. I'm listening to the Office podcast, Office Ladies, if you know what that is, and I'm working on something on Twitter right now. So here, still going, baby. Take care. Hope you're doing well, baby.
So what if your fiance really plays the role? And then it's someone who's already massaging your breast, massaging your breast. And I was like, well, she does massage that, so that is true. And so it was great. So then it was just weird for John. And then it was just weird for everyone else. Because we were super comfortable.
What was your other name? It was like Miss something girl. Wait, no, what was it? Miss Crabgrass or something, right? You were Miss Crabgrass. You're Miss Crabgrass, right? Office lady. I haven't heard that yet. Nasty bread. Well, it's very good. Here, listen to it. Yeah, I thought it might be because I don't want to be tabby. It's good. Good move. You can tell a show or you can catch up when a podcast is made. Analyze. I agree. I agree, Rachel. It's like book club. Have you been to book club? Have you been to book club? Have you been to book club? Ah, have you not been to book club? I don't know what been to book club. Have you been to book club? I've been to book club. I have been to book club. There is like a book club. I know libraries have them. They need to be more to appreciate that. They're good. They're great to hear other people's opinions on literature, symbolism, alliteration, foreshadowing, all kinds of literature. But what kind of phone did you get? Android or iOS? If the Android is Samsung, Motorola, what you get? Yes, you got an Android. That's okay. Samsung. Oh, very nice. Am I going to be visiting my folks? Not anytime soon. No, I like it warm. I like hot on this, so I don't care. I'm visiting them back east. Did you get a Samsung Galaxy? Did you ever fix your computer? Did you ever fix your computer with the storage issue? I don't know, get us some which phone. The computer is the same, but it's okay. Reserve the store, mother. I understand.
I don't understand your personality. It's not always, but I find it just sort of fascinating. But we love your brain work. Yes, and we love data. You and I have discovered one of the things that we probably was tracking. Very exciting. You may have reached out on the show. I became obsessed about every plant and I was documenting every plant. And that's something that I find fascinating about you. So much like that. I don't understand, but I would go to your book. Break down the toolkit. Well, we have one final round of questions. We always ask everyone who's on the show or is there people how to do that. We're loving it. That was amazing. I love talking to my infrastructure forever.
This is a new episode of the podcast. So this one is the promotion. Yeah, it sounds like Jenna Fisher. It's Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey who played Weasley and Angela Martin on the US version of The Office. You're probably like, what is all this stuff? I got I got a sponsorship from a cryptocurrency. So it's my cryptocurrency sponsorship. This podcast is phenomenal. Is it? What up, baby? What up, walking Japan? 4K seconds. Hey, walking Japan. Did you find out about me from Twitter? Because I've been shooting a bunch of Japanese people. Did you hear about me from Twitter? Probably speak Japanese cookies. Take care, Rachel. I think about you a lot. I hope you're doing well. I hope things are well with your family. Best wishes with everything, and we'll talk soon. Take care, kiddo.
Really cracks me up. All right, task number one. I have a location breakdown. I thought you would. You might be thinking, wait, you didn't tell me where our location. Please tell me your location breakdown. Well, we got a bunch of fan questions, including from Kara L in South Australia. Can we please talk about
You came from Twitter. You came from Twitter. Yes. You came from Twitter. Yes. I love you. I love Japan. You came from Twitter. Chris is selling from Twitter. That's so tight. Chris is selling from Twitter. Well, I had 3 people watching at once. That's what's fun. I don't even know what to do. There's so many people watching me at once. Oh, I'd like to say thank Kathy. I'd like to thank all the little people. I'd like to thank God. I'd like to thank Sheila. I'd like to thank everybody. Somebody saw you on Twitter. Amazing 24-hour life. Like can't speak English. That's okay. You're wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Here, I'll do like the Japanese thing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody found me on Twitter. I'm so happy somebody found me on Twitter. That the person who said they found me on Twitter, that's the best news I've heard all week. All month. All month. All fucking month. And they're from Japan. That's my spot. Do you know Yosh?
he was one of the people like you who really took care of me in New York when I broke my back, and yeah, I loved that movie. I loved it too. Fred is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, and Jimmy, you and I have worked with a lot of funny people, so that is saying a lot. Yeah, I remember one time coming over and hanging out with you and Fred, and I was crying.
Somebody found out about me from Twitter. That's fucking amazing.
Just with him, just reading about, I don't know what we were
Go
talking
viral.
about.
I don't know why. I don't know why everybody does.
So funny. No, him and Chris Parnell. Oh, forget it. Forget it. I can't.
There's
Yeah,
too many people watching.
Chris Parnell and Fred Armisen, we made our movie where we traveled with Scotland. We would just laugh the whole time. It would be wonderful. I want that experience. All right, are you ready for Fast Fact number 3? Yes. Jen Salata, as I said, was our writer-director, and I reached out to her because I noticed that this episode is basically just one big A story, like including the cold open. It's not even like a standalone cold open. It's an on-spot cold open. Yeah, it's one big story, start to finish. There's no B story. There's this little bitty runner about Pam and her registry, but here's what Jen had to say about that.
I think because it was a bigger story for Michael and Jim, and the story which affected everyone in the office, we opted for no B story on this one. But I noticed when I rewatched it that a lot of the how it affected everyone in the office didn't make it into the episode. There were some really fun talking heads about who everyone preferred to boss, Michael and Jim, but they didn't make it in. I love the small money runner for Pam. The moment you see her new last name on the check is my favorite. I like how good for himself in this episode to see Jim in his own office. Imagine Jim having his own office be a nice thing, but then it separates him out from the others in a way that Michael is also separated out. Doing definitely good at that in this promotion.
I always love when the writers speak dramatically about an episode. I'm real nerdy like that. I just love how smart they are, and I just loved it. I know, I'm just like, ha ha ha, this is so funny, and they're like, I'm going to break down how this comedy works. Yeah, exactly. Well, Jim was right. There are a lot of deleted scenes. I really enjoyed them. I'm going to share a few later in the episode where they would have come, but there's maybe just a little teaser here. My favorite Stanley talking head ever that got deleted. Ooh, it's going to come later. But yeah, if you have the DVDs, go to the deleted scenes for this one because they are delicious. Well, ladies, that's all I've got. I think we can take a break and then we'll get into it. Let's do it. Well, folks, you know I have a lot of family in Texas, and I just want you to know, if you travel to Texas, there are vast landscapes, cultures, regions, destinations, activities that allow for an infinite number of different travel experiences. You can have fun in the sun. Texas has 350 miles of coastline. That's right. Or if you like more of a rugged vacation, there are campgrounds, hiking trails, state parks, and the food. Can we talk about food? Tex-Mex and barbecue. There's live music, art museums, cowboy experiences. Come on. Right now, Travel Texas offers a one-of-a-kind online trip builder that allows users to generate a custom visually led trip matched to their unique interests. So you go in there, you put your interests, and they'll say, here's where you want to go in Texas. Visit traveltexas.com/get-your-own to get the only trip to Texas that matters, yours. That's traveltexas.com/get-your-own. For 175 years, Gordon's has been committed to spreading the goodness of the sea by making quality seafood accessible to everyone while responsibly sustaining its future. Over 99% of Gordon's seafood is certified as responsibly sourced. And Gordon's reached out to us and said, do you want us to send you some of our fish sticks, some of our products? You can become familiar with it before you speak about it on the podcast. And I was like, Gordon's, I've got you in my freezer right now. Yeah, you okay? Do. You do. Your kids love the fish sticks. Yes, it's our fave. Guess what I got? I got Southern-style shrimp. It is so good. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, when you're looking in the freezer aisle, Gordon's are in the yellow package. They've got the iconic fisherman on the cover. This brand has been around since I was a kid. Same. Gordon's is actually a brand that's been around for 175 years. Oh, my gosh. That's so rare. Well, we love Gordon's, and it can help you make your mealtime easy. Visit Gordon's.com to learn more, find the store, and get a recipe inspiration. Whether your resolution is to save money, eat better, or stress less, HelloFresh is here to help you do all three. Yes, you guys, I love HelloFresh. Jim and I both love it. You know why we love it, and guess what I made the other night? What? It was so delicious. I made their pub-style shepherd's pie. I made it! Yes, it's so good! White cheddar and thyme mashed potatoes. I know it very well. It's a family favorite. Well, you know, Josh normally makes dinner, so this was my turn, and I made this, and he loved it. And I was so happy. I was like, I made a shepherd's pie. I've never made one before. It's so good. Everyone, you can say hello to your most delicious year yet with fresh ingredients, chef-crafted recipes, all at a price you'll like, delivered right to your door. Go to HelloFresh.com/OfficeLadiesFree and use code OfficeLadiesFree for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/OfficeLadiesFree with code OfficeLadiesFree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Alright, this episode starts with Dwight needing a signature for an expense report from Michael. But Michael says, you know what, that doesn't fall under his category of boss, right? He's big picture. And he sends it to Jim. And poor Dwight now is a ping pong ball, going back and forth between these two guys. Yeah, Jim is kind of like, I don't know. I'll sign it, but only if you say please. So then Dwight tries to file a report on Jim. Oh, it's a mess. This co-manager thing is a mess. It's already a mess. Dwight has a talking head where he shares what he'd like to do to Jim, put him in a triangle chokehold, force him down. Basically, Dwight wants to be like a professional wrestler, right? Is that what's happening here? That's what he's describing, yeah. Well, I have a couple of observations about this cold open. Okay. Number one, Jim is suited up. Yeah. He's got his ambition jacket back on again. He's super serious. He's boss man. He's boss. Dwight is not wearing mustard. Did you notice? Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I didn't, but now yeah. He's also in a full suit, and his shirt is like this blue, gray, green color. That's very interesting. He's vying for the position, perhaps. So he is so serious. Another observation about this cold open actually comes from our writer-director, Jen Salata, and she talks a little bit about what it was like to shoot. Here's what she said.
I always really respected the directors that would play by the two-camera dot rule that was established early on. Many did, but I really remember Jeff Woods always sticking to that rule. There were so many good and beautiful episodes where you could feel the presence of more than two cameras, but I love when directors would have to reach to get what they wanted. I tried hard to figure out a way to lose the third camera in that cold open when Dwight was running back and forth between Michael and Jim's office, but I never cracked it, and it's still kind of bugs me.
It's so funny, I didn't even notice. I didn't either, but I do remember Jeff Woods really trying to stick to a traditional documentary. I remember that about him. Well, he was a documentarian, yeah, so that makes sense to me. And I know that Jen worked really closely with him, so it also makes sense to me that she would want to adhere to it as well. Yeah. Well, I guess if you rewatch that cold open, you can look for the 3 camera angles and stuff too. But I have to say, Jen, I didn't see it, so you tricked me. You got us. So now we're going to get into this episode, and Michael wants everyone to gather in the conference room. He wants to have a meeting, and he suggests that everyone bring a snack because this meeting might take a while. Oh, Lord. And Jim is like, Michael, can I speak to you in my office? And Michael is like, maybe you can come speak to me in my office. And then Stanley says, wait, can I be a boss too? Yeah. And then Oscar has a talking head where he says it doesn't take a genius to know that an organization thrives with 2 leaders. Lady, I looked up some organizations that have 2 CEOs. Oh, and guess what? Not the Popes, I'm guessing. No, not the Popes. Who? Netflix. Okay. Warby Parker. Oh. Salesforce. There's a very very successful meal delivery service called Fresh and Lean, and most notably, Bramble, our company. We are co-CEOs, and by the way, our organization is thriving with 2 leaders. Oscar, you got it wrong. We are doing great. So this really starts a whole bunch of deleted scenes that Jen was talking about. One of them involves Kevin, just in the fact that he doesn't know how to relate to Jim anymore as a boss. Jim was his buddy, right? And it's really funny. He ends up oversharing a whole bunch of things he shouldn't be saying to a boss. We have to hear it.
I just wanted to congratulate you on what you're
Realize, baby.
also. I was wondering if you could forget what I said last week about the fact that I don't do my job. Oh, sure. So you've been avoiding me? Oh, well, I wouldn't do that. Oh, it was just that I was late today, and I took a nap in the bathroom for a while. Well, it's not telling you. Gotcha. I will stop telling you things.
Oh, that kind of breaks my heart. I know. But also, how often is Kevin napping in the bathroom? Exactly. So Jim ultimately decides, I guess, he'll go into Michael's office, right? He'll make Michael come into his. And right when he sits down to talk to Michael, I caught a little background from the internet. Oh my gosh, me too! It's at 4 minutes, 12 seconds. It's also at 3 minutes, 34 seconds, and it's Rainn Wilson. Oh, I caught myself scrolling the internet. Did you really? I caught Rainn, and you guys are both surfing the internet during this whole scene. We really are. That's hilarious. This is the scene where Michael calls James, Jimothy. He's like, oh, that just sounds weird. Can I go back to Jim? So Jimothy is explaining that these conference room meetings are eating up like a large part of the day. They're very disruptive. And Michael's like, you know what else eats up a large part of the day? Napping. You fall asleep, you wake up, and it's evening. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, Angela, this is a delightful scene. It's very funny. But all I noticed in this scene was the blooming plant behind Jim. Yes, I did too. I had to Google it. I had to know what is the plant. You know what it is? Yes, I do. It is a peace lily, aka the closet plant. I found out it is very popular in homes and offices because they don't need a ton of light or water. So when I realized I would be podcasting, in my closet this week, I got myself a peace lily. That's my plant. Oh, I did not know it's not blooming because if it's blooming, it's white and like a little yellow thing, and that's how you can tell. Yes, it is not bloomed yet, but it's substantial in size, and I have to say, it's really making my closet experience better. I think it's beautiful. Give it a little bit of sunlight. It likes a little bit. I have one in my backyard, and it just will bloom spontaneously. I just love it so much. And it's blooming right now. You have it planted in the ground? No. I have it in the pot. But outside, I have it outside in a pot. It's in a sort of shady part of my backyard, and I also have it near some hydrangeas. Well, let me tell you what. When I called my local nursery to ask them if they had a peace lily, because I wanted to buy one, they gave me a little snap. They did? Yes. First off, they said, oh, yes, we do. And I said, great. So when I get there, this nursery is big. I said, where will I find it? Is it in the outdoor section? Because most of it is like an outdoor nursery. And they sassed me and said, no, it would be in the indoor section because it's an indoor plant. It is an indoor indoor plant. They are not wrong. I would normally put a peace lily outside, guys, but I was given a gift of a pot full of a bunch of different plants, and none of them had bloomed yet. And it wasn't doing so great in my kitchen window where I put things. So I set it outside in this little shady nook where my hydrangeas are happy. And voila, I have a peace lily outside. Wow. Well, the next time I go to my nursery, I'm going to tell them that story because the lady who ended up helping me when I got there was amazing. I mean, she knew everything about plants. I feel like she would want to know. I feel like she and I would be friends. Oh, lady. Actually, now that you mention it, I should bring you there because you and this woman would hit it off. I mean, maybe I shouldn't bring you there because I might lose a BFF. I mean, the two of you are total plant nerds. I love her. She's not the person who answered the phone, by the way. She did not sass me. She was wonderful. She wasn't a snarky phone person. Well, I want to meet her. I can't wait. It's a plant date. It's a plant date. All right. The next scene, Pam is eyeing a donut in the kitchen, and Phyllis enters and kind of asks her what she's doing. I love this scene so much. So funny. I mean, what the heck? Phyllis has a cousin that makes romantic birdhouse mailboxes? What is a romantic birdhouse mailbox? Are the birds making out? Like, what are they doing? Why is it romantic? I don't know. Maybe they make a heart with their beaks or something. Maybe they kiss a heart. Maybe they do. I feel like you might have one of these. I could see you having a romantic birdhouse mailbox, lady. Let me tell you, the minute I read this, I had to know. And then I found mailboxes that look like birdhouses, and I actually needed a new mailbox, and I was like, Josh, and he was like, no. I guess I'm a little confused, though. I mean, is it going to confuse the birds? Like, are they going to try to nest in your mailbox? Or will it confuse my mail carrier? And then I will get mail. I don't know. I did want to point out at 4 minutes and 58 seconds, I am holding my favorite donut. Our craft services guys would have donuts out every morning, and they always had our favorite. That one was mine. It's a cake donut with icing and sprinkles. I'm kind of wishing I'd also gotten myself a donut for my closet. Oh, I didn't think of it till just now. Wait, I have to show you. I was listening to your donut selection, but I have to show you the picture of the birdhouse mailbox that I want, okay? It's like a 3-story birdhouse. It looks like a combo mailbox and birdhouse. If I were a bird, I would want to move into that. It feels, I don't know. It feels like it's going to be like living above a busy store. Also, though, will I just have like bird poop on my mail? I don't know. I guess Jim walks out of his office and notices that there's a bunch of people missing. Where are they? I don't know. Maybe I'll go see what Michael's up to. He's having a meeting. Yeah, he's got Oscar, Stanley, Creed, and Kelly all sitting in chairs across his desk. Michael claims it's a product expansion focus group. They all want to go back to their desks. And Jim says, what kind of products? What happened in here? You know, what was the last thing that was said? Stanley said, Michael said, if you don't smell this, you're fired. This leads to a Kelly talking head where she says she loves rivalries. Michael or Jim, Paris or Nicole, Heidi or LC, it's so fun. This was the beginning, Jenna, of people comparing Jim and Michael as bosses. There are a series of deleted talking heads. They're so fun. We have to hear them. Let's start with Toby's.
Comparing Jim and Michael, I'm like comparing apples and oranges. And I like apples. I really don't like oranges. Oranges are annoying.
Oranges are annoying and hate me. Who's the orange? Now for maybe my favorite Stanley talking head ever. And it wasn't in the episode, and I'm so sad. You have to hear it.
Jim question, he'll tell Jim answer. So when you ask Michael a question, he'll do an imitation of you for 5 minutes. Then he'll just read videos. Then he'll try to tickle you. And if that's not enough, he'll ask me to repeat the question. Meanwhile, he's wandering off somewhere. Comes back, looks at the clock, and leaves for the rest of the day. For the office. come in late. So I prefer my
That is amazing. I love that he said first he'll do an impression of you, and he'll show you YouTube videos. It just cracked me up. Lastly, you have to hear Andy's comparison of Jim and Michael. Because Andy is doing that thing, Jenna, that we do when a question makes us uncomfortable.
Michael is like the fun dad, and Jim is like the serious mom. Anyway, Andy is jumping the wheel. But he loves them both very much. But if he had to pick one, it would probably Greg. Jim, because Jim gives every time to a topic. Sometimes they're, of course, my relationship.
Oh, Andy. But we've talked about this how sometimes we get asked a question that you're like, I don't want to, this might come across mean to someone. I'll do a little voice or I'll sing it. Yeah, the lady at the nursery was like real mean to me. Yeah, she told me peacefully have to stay inside, and I didn't like it one bit. Well, now we're going to get into the major conflict of this episode. David Wallace is going to call and explain that Dunder Mifflin cannot give out cost of living raises this year. There's a finite amount of money, and it's up to these guys to figure out how to distribute the money amongst all the employees. And Michael and Jim start vying for this. They're like, I got it, no, I got it. David's like, is there going to be a problem? Also, Michael, are you texting me? Oh, yeah. I guess in the end, David is like, you need to hear this out together. Terrible idea. It starts with some really funny Jim and Michael scenes because at first Michael's acting like that, sure, great, they can do this together. And then Jim was like, tell me how you really feel. And he goes, I hate the fact that we have to do this together. And then he's like, all I can see is your big and gross pores from your nose. Like, it gets so personal. Later, he points out his crusty eyes. Like, what? Michael, what happens to you when you get back in the corner? You just get really mean. Lady, I literally made a list of all of Michael's jabs at Jim. He also calls him Skippy at one point. Big pores, crusty eyes, Skippy. That was as far as my list went. Also, we learned that Michael hates a pros and cons list. Oh my gosh. Hates it. Absolutely hates it. And then he has that amazing quote where he says, sometimes the smartest people don't think at all. Well, lady, I had to know. I don't know why. I just, on the fly, decided to Google who invented the pros and cons list. Did you really? The answer is fascinating. Oh my gosh, I want to hear it. There is an inventor of the pros and cons list, and it is Ben Franklin. What? Ben Franklin! Alright, this is where everyone thinks the pros and cons list came from. He wrote a letter in 1772 to Joseph Priestley, where he described in great detail how he makes a decision. I'm going to read it to you. Every word fascinated me. He said, quote, my way, capitalized way, by the way, is way, okay, Frank Sinatra, we hear you, is to divide a half sheet of paper into two columns, writing over the one pro and over the other con. Then, during 3 or 4 days of consideration, I put down under the different headings different motives that at different times occur to me for or against the measure. When I have thus got them all together in one view, I endeavor to estimate their respective weights. Where I find 2, one on each side, that seem equal, I strike them both out. If I find a reason pro that is equal to 2 reasons con, I'll strike out all 3. If I judge 2 reasons con equal to 3 reasons pro, I strike out all 5. And thus proceed until the balance lies. And if after a day or 2 of further consideration, nothing new of importance occurs on either side, I can come to a determination accordingly. Then he said, I have found great advantage from this kind of equation, and he said, I believe I have discovered what could be called moral or prudential algebra. He believes that he had found a mathematical equation for making a decision. Well, I can tell you right now, he would have driven Michael Scott crazy. Crazy. and said, listen, it's going to take me 3 days. Yeah, with this pros and cons list to figure out what we're going to do. Michael would have been like, I'm out. Well, when I read this, I also realized I've been doing pros and cons lists wrong, I guess. I just make lists of pros and cons, and then I can see them all in one place. I didn't realize I was supposed to strike them out. I consider them to be of equal importance. I didn't realize there was a whole striking out process that Ben Franklin intended. Well, Jenna, I know you love a list. I have no doubt you've made many pro and con lists in your life. True. Well, I'll have you know, Angela, next Jim is going to make a pie chart of Michael's time. How Michael spends time. Yeah. It looks like he used crayon, by the way. I know. I also Googled who invented the pie chart. Did you really? Yeah. Who did it? A lady. Also fascinating. Who knew? These Googles would be so interesting. The earliest known pie chart is generally credited to William Playfair in 1801. He was a businessman, engineer, and economics writer from Scotland. But get this. What? Florence Nightingale is credited with adapting the pie chart and basically making it go viral. Did she use it for pain? Like, what's your threshold for pain? No. But it's interesting you ask that because I will remind people that Florence Nightingale is the woman who pioneered the field of nursing. She started a nursing school. She tended to wounded soldiers during the Crimean War. But she was also a pioneer in the area of statistics, and she made a pie chart that showed the impact of poor sanitary conditions on mortality rates. And some people believe that this was the first time that a pie chart was used to persuade people to change. Oh, wow. And it kind of went viral. So she's credited as, making the pie chart accessible. There you go. There you go. Well, I looked at Jim's pie chart, took a picture of it, and you know what I thought? What? He was just procrastinating. I mean, really, how different would Jim's pie chart be from Michael's? The biggest part is in green, it's procrastinating. Then the other biggest part is yellow, and it's distracting others. And then there's a tiny sliver of red for critical thinking. I mean, Jim's wouldn't be that different. He's always distracted, he's procrastinating. Come on. We're so right. Jim just drew his own pie chart, pretty much. While Jim's making pie charts, Pam is still trying to hustle up some money as wedding gifts, and finally finds someone who's going to write her a check. Kevin writes her a check for $40, and he says he's going to put "to love's eternal glory" in the subject line. But also, can you wait until you cash it till Monday? Yeah, but this is the moment that Pam sees the name Mrs. Pam Halford for the first time. Aww, she gets all excited. And I have a question. Pam is doing her talking head out in the little, I don't know, what would you call that? The vestibule, inner lobby from right outside the door of Dunder Mifflin. Oh yeah, like the entryway. Yeah, that Dunder Mifflin sign that Pam is standing next to. Isn't that the one that John took and you saw him putting it in his trunk? Yeah, that's the one John stole when we wrapped. That's what I thought. I was like, oh hey, John got that in his house. Yeah. Well, listen, I think we should take a break because when we come back, Jim and Michael are going to try a lot of strategies to divide up this money, and pretty much none of them are going to go well. I mean, putting beans on people's faces isn't a great way to figure out a raise. We'll talk about that after the break. We will. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Around New Year's, we all reflect, and people really start making lists of what they can do to be their best self for the next year. Yes, I think, the new year definitely makes you think New Year's resolution. What do I want to change? New Year's and me, that kind of thing. Yes, but perhaps this year, we could be reflecting on what we're already doing right. And therapy can help you figure out your strengths so that you can ditch this idea that you need some extreme change or this extreme New Year's resolution and just you can make changes that really stick because they're based on your strengths. I like that. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/OfficeLadies today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/OfficeLadies. Let's talk a little bit about hydration in the new year, particularly about Liquid IV. Angela, you turned me on to this, and I'm going to have to give you props. Oh, thanks. It's pretty great. You told me that you use this when you travel to stay better hydrated. I started doing the same thing. Whenever we go on a road trip, it's like I don't want to drink too much water because then I'll have to pee, and then I find myself so dehydrated. So I use this. Well, I like it for hikes. Here's what it is. You get a little packet and you put it in your water, and then you are going to get 3 times the electrolytes of a leading sports drink plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. It's non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. It's perfect for daily use before a workout or when you feel run down or after a long night out, or even on really long flights. Rehydrate yourself for the new year. Grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier sugar-free in bulk nationwide at Costco, or get 20% off your first order when you go to liquidiv.com and use code OfficeLadies at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code OfficeLadies at liquidiv.com. Jim and Michael are in the conference room, and Jim proposes that they give the raises to the salespeople. He says they're the ones who bring in the money, and this will keep them happy. Well, Michael doesn't think that's going to go over very well. Well, these guys are going to kind of argue now, and I thought the scene was a little bit dramatic, and even Jen Salata mentioned it. Here's what she had to say.
When I was directing the scene with Steve and John in the conference room, I think it was the scene where Michael criticizes Jim's way of thinking and Jim tells Michael to his weaknesses. I kind of popped out of the moment and looked at us and said, I think we're doing a drama right now. It occurred to me that I wrote it kind of dramatic, and their instincts were dramatic as I was preparing for the scene, and I was steering it in an even more dramatic way. I remember trying to push things to their edges a bit more in the 6th season, maybe as a reaction to having done so many episodes in a row for the season, but I was looking to shake things up. Drama is definitely where some of those scenes went. Me writing and directing, there wasn't enough quality control. I even asked Paul, is this too dramatic? Did I make this into a drama? And John and Steve and I paused and talked about the balance, landing in a really nice place, I think. I love what Steve and John did in that scene and throughout that episode. It was really fun getting into the relationship in a deeper way.
Yeah, I can feel that in the scene. I mean, Jim's like, you know what, Michael, here are your weaknesses. And Michael's like, oh yeah, you want to tell me my weaknesses? Like, it gets really personal. Not to mention Michael goes there with the crusty eye. Yeah. I really like it when our show would dare to kind of let comedy go for a second. Sometimes it was in those romantic moments. Sometimes it was emotional with all the stuff about sprinkles, all the stuff about your heart getting broken, Angela. I liked it when the show didn't need to be funny or ring that funny bell every 3 seconds, which is kind of your traditional comedy. So I really appreciated this scene. I do too. And of course they found the moments of comedy, and one of the lines that made me laugh is at the very end when Jim is going to go out there. Michael's like, okay, Skippy, give it your best shot, go tell him. And Jim leaves, and then Michael turns to the camera and says, this had better be terrible. He's rooting for him to fail. And then Jim does just lay it out there. He's honest. He's going to shoot everyone straight. And right away, it doesn't go well. Well, he comes up condescending. He's talking about, I'm going to talk to you all like an adult because you're very smart. Yes, and then Oscar says, thank you, Jim, for thinking that we're smart people. And then Angela, sort of playing dumb, goes, but I do not understand. If we're such smart adults, then why don't we get raises? And Oscar's like, excellent question, genius. Also, by the way, if you go back and rewatch this, tell me if you think I sound Southern when I say, I do not understand, because all I could hear was my accent. Anyway, so the scene starts to really get out of hand, and it builds with this crescendo. You've got to hear it.
Well, as tall as the salespeople, he deserves raises.
Yeah, they don't get them if we don't get them. Why can't Nick
Rainy Southern California. In storm. By morning down of sandy weather. After being at Southern County, you're offering $20,000 for your boyfriend if you have a trip from underwater center. The city said 6.5 miles of summer wide have been stolen last year. Federal official says the traffic blew off in the left airline airliner was reported this month. But manufactured Malaysia by a destroyed flight. Ariana Grande is released her first album in 4 years. After the starting out, Little Sunshine will drop off March 2nd. This is the minor diary back to the sun on the winter meeting.
It's a hot outside. Ready to buy. Reaction to the two by currents. The latest basketball complex in Sacramento Road. Talking with folks on Sunday. It's activities on the ROTHSCHILD. A couple of incidents have last us northbound at Vineland and also northbound at Balboa. All in exposure. Past the kilometers taken on downtown Los Angeles. And of course, looking out on earlier events in Garden Grove on the 72. Was making available to each outside before you put everything off to the open. And the guys picking up a way for that help now. And I am stop. Help get to them faster. I don't know what to do.
This is the one who's been shooting from our heart and network. We don't have that late to do that. Bulletins to the out of average tonight has been looked for a return to 500. 14 to 3 up to 3 goes down traditional turnout lineup. The Buxton Lions over the first and Sunday game. Last year's lineup is quick favored by 6.5. Amazon partnered up with John and Jim to help run through a Sports Network Carolina bankruptcy. Here's from the Orange Jersey to the broadcast of the Chicago Giants Prime Video platform. Our Giants from the versatile TV with a sublime interaction app for city staff, no selection, and joyfully. When you go to all electric, the feeling is all Mercedes. It's fun, it's all yours. Learn more at ABUSA.com/TV.
Everybody tell me about it. If your dog's company isn't expressing, it's safe and music that nobody else can do it. And RioLite is a nutritional supplement to help. Right now, by RioLite for free. Just put it in your mind to the TRILLIONAIRE.com/RioLite. Who is Bobby Market? You lost in the marketing jungle? Well, bet not. Brave is the toughest company in the world of optimization. And that being said, this month, Brave will help you personalize every step in customer service with dynamic legal segmentation, cross-channel orchestration, and story results. Whether you're a small, near, or size business, Brave is the right fit for you. Visit Brave.com. That's BRAVE.com. Let's see if you support your to the final week of the life of a legend. So we are celebrating the 100% of this anniversary for Jesus Christ Superstar. Jesus Christ Superstar rocks the career of Saturday for 4 cars on January 19th at 8 p.m., the 20th at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m., and a package on the 21st at 2 p.m. Tickets starting low as $39. For more info, visit TorinoCenter.com or call 562-916-8500. That's 562-916-8500. Earning tickets is the city and embarrassment of food and the city route. All the way is just not today. Basically, my choice is 1966. Change your life. Increase your confidence and enjoy your favorite food again. There's no more pain in December. Call KDC 640 and receive $4,000 up to each in 1 day. Plus, you'll be any competitor for an offer. Reload your buy-sell receipt at TinyDental.com. It's the 840 where instructions apply. Americans pay about $5 million to kill termites in their last 2 years. No plastic and termites is and people underestimate exactly how much damage it'll render to your home. Termites cause more property disappear, thunderstorms, blizzards, earthquakes, floods, and harm. Termite damage is not even covered by your house insurance, which means you'll often have to pay the bill. So, or call the people that host termite insurance. All of it is under ticket. You can still keep your termites, still call the Pacific Termites for free home inspection, surgery, or supply. The Pacific Termites is a Hello.
You can take it and tell you with them, baby. Thank you, baby. I appreciate the kind words. How's things in your neck of the woods? Excellent. What's new in the zoo? Not only that, I'm always live on YouTube. I'm always live on YouTube. Excellent. Oh, Collingwood, Jason. Bruises? Yeah. I'm supposed to make that installation. So.
and also host of Praise to Love, the open listening and one of the community teaching and sharing of Praise to Love. And there are about 22 Christians from the corporate survey who do not change their underwear with the that for any that hopefully before the night is over. And since we have a bunch of in this video, I'm pretty sure we'll all have something to say one way or the other. Hopefully we'll come through. I can tell you right now, the first thing that did in my life what I consciously not change my underwear. Yeah. Now there was an occasional morning when I had to walk a day leaving a place house back in the day, like house. But that was down. It seems like I always, was down. And we'll talk about that later. We got the Bible road coming up with Disney Eye. And the Coach Carolina, all the Christians you and I have never heard of, never listened to, or don't care about. Who built these programs? And a huge show coming up tonight. But first, we start with the weather service. It's just storms with double rain, the light rain in the area today. The United States Army says running more selfie mostly cloudy skies. There's nothing in the high of 60 below 70. I do not see any predicted. No water still near me now. Once again, there's a coincidence. Maybe the storm system is magnetic. But all the projections take into account where I'm driving, where I'm walking, and where I'm living. So there's been no wetness anywhere around me at all today. I would say, oh, yeah. You know, I think I look at everybody in that. Well, there's usually smart water. I like this. Undermining the reporter. No! I'm not undermining you. All I can do is give my personal anecdotal experiences of how the weather report don't seem to impact me personally. Now, this is just California. The court is taking very seriously. We may have rain the rest of the week in London. That there's a 5 to 15%. There's a thunderstorm predicted on Sunday. Snow levels are still around 70,000 feet. This is going to be a national weather service. Who are we to assume there is exactly right now? I didn't say right here, either now, but it's the first, but whatever first you have, there's the national weather service. I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the weather service right now. I'm looking at it. If I want this to go to KCLA.com, and you cite the national weather service. Remember, so this is important from your experience. Weather Tuesday, you go to public opinion. I am able to make it into something that KCLA is stored, a portal for public stores with stores. And I'm going to KCLA.com right now. After a friendly start to the week, weather officials are now deciding for the California right now. Do not expect to see this stuff for a while. According to the National Weather Service, this storm system will bring in light rain next of the area on Wednesday. Area representing Southern California. Communities that don't experience rain, like will still see mostly cloudy skies and covering in the high 60s below 70. So they're not wrong. With the trend of able to rain throughout Southern California, there's parts of places, so that's what there's the clouds in Iowa. Well, it's not the clouds. The clouds are up there. It's overcast. And after that, I only talked about the big lawn down here in progress. No, the progress is not the rain. I just say that we talk about the rain. It's really doesn't come to fruition. That's all I'm saying. The one where I was not hungry when I was away from home back in the country. But I got the burger and I stopped at the subway to get some food on the way on Alameda to go on the station. This is where I was. It was overcast. It was not winter. And I went to the city with the soft
sort of overstack the comedy.
Most people give up on their resolutions by Jan. Most people give up on their resolutions by
Out of that. Oh, the biggest best little rewind back to bed ever. And it wasn't in the episode, and I'm so sad. You have to hear it.
your question. He'll tell you an answer. When you ask Michael a question, he'll do an imitation of you for 5 minutes. And then he'll show you 3 YouTube videos. Then he'll try to tickle you. And if that's not enough, he'll ask you to repeat the question. Meanwhile, he's wandering off somewhere. He comes back, looks at the clock, and leaves for the rest of the day. But he also doesn't care if you come in late. So I prefer Michael.
That is amazing. I love that he said first he'll do an impression of you, and he'll show you YouTube videos. It just cracked me up. Lastly, you have to hear Andy's comparison of Jim and Michael. Because Andy is doing that thing, Jenna, that we do when a question makes us uncomfortable.
Michael is like the fun dad, and Jim is like the serious mom. Like, where you went, it's jumping the middle. Because you lost your boat very far. But it's in the next one, we probably drag Jim because Jim gives him his thumbs all the time. Thumbs are, of course, like a mission.
Oh, Andy. We've talked about this how sometimes you get asked a question that you're like, I don't want to, this might come across mean to someone. I'll do a little voice, or I'll sing it. Yeah, the lady at the nursery was real mean to me. Yeah, she told me peacefully have to stay inside, and I didn't like it one bit. Now we're going to get into the major conflict of this episode. David Wallace is going to call and explain that Dunder Mifflin cannot give out cost of living raises this year. There's a finite amount of money, and it's up to these guys to figure out how to distribute the money amongst all the employees. And Michael and Kim start buying for this. They're like, I got it. No, I got it. David's like, is there going to be a problem? Also, Michael, are you texting me? Oh, yeah. I guess in the end, David is like, you need to figure this out together. Terrible idea. It starts some really funny Jim and Michael scenes because at first Michael's actually like, sure, great, they can do this together. And then Jim is like, tell me how you really feel. And he goes, I hate the fact that we have to do this together. And then he's like, all I can see is your big and gross pores with your nose. Like, it gets so personal. Later, he points out his crusty eyes. Like, what? Michael, what happens to you when you get back to the corner? You just get really mean. The lady, I literally made a list of all of Michael's jabs at Jim. He also calls him Skippy at one point. Big pores, crusty eyes, Skippy. That was as far as I went. Also, we learned that Michael hates a pros and cons list. Oh my gosh. Hates it. Absolutely hates it. And then he has that amazing quote where he says, sometimes the smartest people don't think at all. Well, lady, I had to know. I don't know why. I just, on the fly, decided to Google who invented the pros and cons list. Did you really? The answer is fascinating. Oh my gosh, I want to hear it. There is an inventor of the pros and cons list, and it is Ben Franklin. What? Ben Franklin! Alright, this is where everyone thinks the pros and cons list came from. He wrote a letter in 1772 to Joseph Priestley, where he describes in great detail how he makes a decision. I'm going to read it to you. Every word fascinated me. He said, quote, my way, capitalized way, by the way, is way, okay? Frank Sinatra, we hear you, is to divide a half sheet of paper by a line into 2 columns, writing over the one pro and over the other con. Then, during 3 or 4 days of consideration, I put down under the different headings different motives that at different times occur to me for or against the measure. When I have thus got them all together in one view, I endeavor to estimate their respective weights. Where I find 2, one on each side that seem equal, I strike them both both out. If I find a reason pro that is equal to 2 reasons con, I'll strike out all 3. If I judge 2 reasons con equal to 3 reasons pro, I strike out all 5. Thus proceed until the balance lies. And if after a day or 2 of further consideration, nothing new of importance occurs on either side, I can come to a determination accordingly. Then he said, I have found great advantage from this kind of equation, and he said, I believe I have discovered what could be called moral or prudential algebra. He believes that he had found a mathematical equation for making a decision. So I can tell you right now, he would have driven Michael Scott crazy. Crazy. If he walked in and said, listen, it's going to take me 3 days, with this pros and cons list to figure out what we're going to do, Michael would have been like, I'm out! Well, when I read this, I also realized I've been doing pros and cons lists wrong, I guess. I just make lists of pros and cons, and then I can see them all in one place. I didn't realize I was supposed to strike them out. I consider them to be of equal importance. I didn't realize there was a whole striking out process that Ben Franklin intended. Listen, I know you love a list. I have no doubt you've made many pro and con lists in your life. True. Well, I'll have you know, Angela, next Jim is going to make a pie chart of Michael's time. How Michael spends time. Yeah. It looks like he used crayon, by the way. I know. I also Googled who invented the pie chart. Did you really? Yeah. Who did it? A lady. Also fascinating. Who knew these Googles would be so interesting? The earliest known pie chart is generally credited to William Playfair in 1801. He was a businessman, engineer, and economics writer from Scotland. But get this. What? Florence Nightingale is credited with adapting the pie chart and basically making it go viral. Did she use it for pain? Like, what's your threshold for pain? No. But it's interesting you ask that because I will remind people that Florence Nightingale is the woman who pioneered the field of nursing. She started a nursing school. She tended to wounded soldiers during the Crimean War. But she was also a pioneer in the area of statistics, and she made a pie chart that showed the impact of poor sanitary conditions on mortality rates. And some people believe that this was the first time that a pie chart was used to persuade people to change. Oh, wow! And it kind of went viral. So she's credited as, making the pie chart accessible. There you go. Well, I looked at Jim's pie chart, took a picture of it, and you know what I thought? What? He was just procrastinating. I mean, really, how different would Jim's pie chart be from Michael's? The biggest part is in green, it's procrastinating. Then the other biggest part is yellow, and it's distracting others. And then there's a tiny sliver of red for critical thinking. I mean, Jim shouldn't be that different. He's always distracted, he's procrastinating. Come on. You're so right. Jim just drew his own pie chart. Pretty much. Well, Jim's making pie charts. And he's still trying to hustle up some money as well. And finally finds someone who's going to write her a check. Kevin. He writes her a check of $40, and he's going to put it to love eternal glory in the subject line. But also, can you wait to be careful till Monday? Yeah. This is the moment that Pam sees. This is Pam Halpert for the first time. Aww. She gets all excited. And I have a question. Pam is doing her talking head out in the little, I don't know, what would you call that? The vestibule? The inner lobby from right outside the door of Dunder Mifflin? Oh, yeah, like the entryway. Yeah. That Dunder Mifflin's fine, but Pam standing next to you, isn't that the one that John, said he's on putting it in his trunk? Yeah, that's the one John stole when we wrapped. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, hey, John's got that in his backpack. Yeah. Well, listen, I think we should take a break because when we come back, Jim and Michael are going to try a lot of strategies to divide up this money, and pretty much none of them are going to go well. I mean, being on people's great way to figure out if they get a raise? We'll talk about it after the break. We will. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Around New Year's, we all reflect on a certain list of what we can do to be their best self for the next year. Yes, I think, the new year definitely makes me think New Year's resolution. What do I want to change? New year, new me, that kind of thing. Yes, but perhaps this year we could be reflecting on what we're already doing right. And therapy can help you figure out your strengths. You can decide to do some extreme changes or this extreme resolution. And just, you can take changes that really stick because they're based on your strengths. I like that. If you're thinking of starting therapy, better help a try. It's entirely online, science-based, convenient, flexible, and suits your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and the therapist at any time for no additional charge. Don't wait for recipes already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/ROTHSCHILD to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ROTHSCHILD. Let's talk a little bit about hydration here, particularly about liquid IV ampoules, on, and I'm going to have to give you props. Oh, thanks. Pretty great. Hopefully you use this when you travel to stay better hydrated. I started doing the same thing. I don't want to work it. It's like I don't want to drink too much water, not too deep, but then I find myself so dehydrated, so I use it. Well, I like it for height. Here's what it is. Get a little packet and put it into the water, and then you're going to get 3 times the electrolytes that will use for 3 plus 85 nutrients. It's non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. It's perfect for daily use before a workout, or when you feel run down, or after a long night out, or even on really long flights. Rehydrate yourself for the new year. Grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier sugar-free impulse nationwide at Costco, or get 20% off your first order when you go to liquidIV.com and use code OfficeLady at checkout.